The nation reflected yesterday after the sad news of Prince Philip's death. But today we'll come together at 5:15 for the world's most famous race, the Randox Grand National.
Our shop shutters may be down, but our spirits will be raised.
There's a furlong now between Red Rum and his third Grand National triumph.
A race that belongs to the city.
His hats off and a tremendous reception. You've never heard one like it at Liverpool.
A race that belongs to the nation.
And party politics is going to win the Grand National.
A race that belongs to the people.
Tiger Roll is remarkable. He comes up towards the winning line under Davy Russell.
Over 30 fences and 4¼ miles.
Boy, now we're going well clear to a fantastic Grand National triumph.
The ultimate test of horse and jockey.
And they are applauding a very brave horse. Red Marauder comes out alone.
History beckons for the brave.
And the line underneath he wins the National.
Who will cement their place in the history books of the 2021 Grand National? Yeah, 40 horses, 30 fences, 4½ miles, 40 stories, all waiting to unfold. It is the race that belongs to the people. Joe Ross is alongside me for the next hour, building up to this fabulous race. Well, it's what got me into racing.
Oh yes, mate. It's the first time you watch horse racing when it used to be on. I think it was ITV originally at the time, before Channel 4 and then BBC One or whatever it was.
BBC for years.
Yeah, too right. But yeah, I've had lots of jockeys on this morning asking why you've extended the race. You've extended the race. They all say it's 4¼ miles. You keep saying 4½. That's like me turning up for a 5 furlong race, expecting 5 furlongs and getting 7.
It's just under 4½.
Well, yeah, 4¼ isn't it? Yeah, no, but honestly, no, serious note, I love this race. And we had that thing a few years ago where they changed the fences and whatever. Visually, they look pretty similar. They still take a little bit of jumping.
Oh, look, I know some people talk, oh, it's not the same. But, look, it's still...
Look at that.
You still need luck.
Yeah.
Stamina. Probably the big difference now is the quality of the horses going for the Grand National.
It used to be old plodders in my day, and you'd look at stuff and horses get taken out, loose horses fall in, whatever. No one ever wants to see that, but you watch the race now and it's full of quality.
6 places each way, 6 places each way. And if you're on the website at the moment, just be patient with us. It's very, very busy. I know a few of you are having a couple of issues. We're looking to get that rectified ASAP, so bear with us. Right then, what do you fancy for the Grand National, Matt?
Well, 41, it's all about one horse, this fella, isn't it? With 6 places each way on the Grand National, but everyone's talking about the cloth cap. Will there be cloth caps in the air at about 5:25 this afternoon? Because he's your 11-2 market leader. He's a stone well in. Effectively, if the handicapper could change these weights, he'd give him an extra £14 to carry. He's got a very low weight. He jumps well. He stays well. He's got the right connections. John Joe O'Neill's won the race before. The owner, Trevor Hemmings, has owned 3 winners at Aintree, and he is your 11-2 clear favourite. Double figures bar, bringing in the Irish Grand National winner, Burrows St. Manila Times. Will there be a gamble? Rachel Blackmore on board. Will she be the first lady to win a Grand National? 6 Cheltenham Festival winners she rode this season. Any second now for Ted Welsh. Won it in 2000 with Papillon. And he's interested in 11-1. The gambles of the race. Mr. Malarkey, 16-1, and taking risks as well. Around about 40-1 when declarations are made on Thursday. Now 16-1 for Nikki Richards. Plenty of talk about Kimberly Candy as well, who's jumped round here a few times in Beecher Chases. He's at 18-1. But as you said, Mark, 6 places each way. Don't be afraid to have one at a big price.
Don't be afraid at all to have one at a big price. Fornhaven in 1967, 100-1. More recently, Mon Mom at 100-1. Aurora's Encore, we'll hear from his jockey Ryan Mannion. He's got a ride now in the Grand National. He's on Definitely Red now, is Ryan Mannion. He was supposed to be at Newcastle. He's turned the car around and he's on his way to Aintree. Aurora's Encore was 66-1. 6 places each way. So even if one of the fancied horses wins, something at a big price will get in the places. So whatever you fancy, back it each way. I don't want to patronise normal punters, but if you want to have an each way bet to get in the places, so £1 each way, that costs you £2. So there's £1 on the win part and £1 on the each way, and then you get a return if you finish in the 6 places. Right, let's go live to Aintree and join our man there. It's Rupert Bell.
Well, welcome to Aintree for the Grand National Day, and it is a glorious spring morning here. You can see away down in the distance the final preparations being carried out on the chair to make sure it's in pristine condition for the big race at 5:15. They put 6 millimetres of water on the course last night to ensure that it remains at good to soft, and so I think we should be in for a real treat. It looks such a competitive and deep Grand National, so many inward chances. For what it's worth, I do like the look of Any Second Now. Also, I think Taking Risks might be a decent horse at an outside price. And Kimberly Candy, of course, well fancied for last year's National, I think has every chance of also running a huge race today. But whatever, the scene is set for what should be a spectacular occasion later on today.
Taking Risks is one of the horses getting backed. Fascinating, Taking Risks. A 12-year-old's not won it since Amberley House 17 years ago. Scottish Grand National winner will get the distance. Nicky Richards' father won it twice as trainer with Lucius in 78 and Hello Dandy in 1984.
I think Sean Quinlan, one of the most underrated jockeys as well last few seasons. He's had his issues and whatever. The Scottish National that you say he won 2 years ago is really, really good. And the Sky Bet Handicap as well in January. 40-1 winner at that as well. So don't be afraid of that price today. And that was the first thing I heard when I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning, that money had come overnight. And it was one of those ones that I didn't expect. I expected obviously the Rachel Blackmore factor. I expect a lot of the Irish horses, but look at it taking risks. It wasn't for me originally, but when you start seeing the money come, and it's got to be a hell of a lot of money nowadays to move these markets. You look at it and you go, oh, I can see it now. So stick with what you know. Yeah. Stick with your first choice.
I have backed Taking Risks each way. So whatever you fancy, back it each way. Could it be the story? Could it be Nicky Richards following in his father's footsteps and training a Grand National winner? Could it be the first female jockey to win the Grand National, like Joel has mentioned? Could it go to an Irish-trained horse? Obviously, the Irish had a wonderful Cheltenham. What will be the story? Could it be Nigel Twiston Davis has won it twice before with Summit and Bindery? What will the story be at 5:30? We don't know. But the story 40 years ago was just quite remarkable. It was made into a feature film. John Hurt played Bob Champion. Watch this.
I had 2 different types of cancer, teratoma and seminoma. There was 5 stages and I was at stage 4. So if I hadn't had the treatment, I wouldn't have been here.
And while all this was happening, Old Daniti, a horse you'd ridden, was not very well either.
Well, I was about 3/4 away for the treatment. He came back for a run at Sandown. I was there that day and he broke down so bad. And, the vets wanted to put him down. It broke my heart because he was my main aim. I always wanted to ride him in a Grand National.
So you arrived at Aintree, you got on the horse, the world was watching. Did that put pressure on you?
Oh, good God, yeah, a lot of
Really?
pressure. Nobody realises the pressure was under. I'd been to the track in the morning and sat on the old horse and, he felt $1 million. He was so relaxed. He'd never been relaxed in his life before. So he must have realised it was a big occasion as well. His legs were our worry. And so we jumped off down the outer. I followed Bill Smith on something and John Thorne on Spartan Missile. Going to the first, he stood off far too far, came down too steep, nearly curtains. Oof. He realised this is serious business, the old horse did. It hurts hitting a fence. Went to the first ditch, was a big ditch those days.
It was, number 3.
And the old horse had a brain, put a short stride in. From that moment, he was a joy to ride. Got to the elbow, and I felt this horse come to my quarters. I didn't look, you don't look. and felt this horse there for a few strides. The old horse kept galloping. He didn't quicken, he kept galloping. And I beat the second 2 or 3 lengths. But if it was another 100 yards, I'd have beaten him 10 lengths.
It's great to come and talk to you here. You're not riding anymore, but if you were, who would you like to be riding in the 2021 Grand National?
Well, most likely one of the Irish, because they're going to have more than half the field. But Cloth Cap for me. I loved everything he's done this season. Jumps for Fun, ridden by Tom Skew. And wouldn't that be history? Yes. Grandfather won the National. Yeah. Father was involved with the National winner with his partner. Yeah. And be 3 generations if Tom won it. And there's always a story. But, you know, he has been impressive all his races this time. Trained for the day. John Joe's horse is in great form. Has trained a National winner before. So he knows what's needed.
So Bob Champion fancies Cloth Cap, the favourite for the Grand National. As he said, Tom Scudamore on board. His granddad won it with Oxo. His dad was involved with One for Arthur, which was a winner recently. 4 favourites in the last 20 years. But we did have a favourite. Like I said, I was about to say last year, of course. We didn't have a race last year, but last time Tiger Roll won at 4-1. So Cloth Cap around 11-2 at the moment. John Joe O'Neill trained Don't Push It in 2010. John Joe himself never actually completed the Grand National.
Some of the top jocks have never done that. Frankham never won it, did he?
Nope.
No.
Richard Johnson never won it.
No. Well, he's not good at it, is he? No. Unless you might say, come back. He could have come back to that and definitely red. Imagine that.
Well, could that be the story? Ryan Mania, on his way to Newcastle, gets the call, turns around, comes to Aintree, and what a comeback it's been for Ryan Mania, that great winner at Cheltenham.
It's been a brilliant comeback for Ryan. He seems like a great lad. I've been speaking to him, I've listened to him all week, and he's been great, but ain't happening.
Joe, what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and mention all 40 runners. And I don't want to patronise anyone who knows a lot about racing, because this is everybody's race. Look, I've worked with people who've, I like those colours, and they've gone and won. My mum backed Silver Birch in 2007 because she's got a silver birch in her back garden. She backed Red Alligator that year because my brother had a red jumper on that morning.
She should be here then. Why are we here? She should be here.
Yeah. My sister-in-law backed Rule the World because she's a Take That fan.
So,
you know, whatever you fancy.
That was a great ride. One of the best rides you'll see.
We're about to talk about Chris's. Plenty of Chris's are about to back Chris's Dream. I don't know Chris's Dream that works on his show, by the way. Certainly not at midday. Let's talk about all of them. Right, Bristol de Mai won Betfair Chase 3 times in the last 4 years. The trainer won it with Earth Summit and Bindaree. Now, I don't want to bore people with stats, but there is a
I'm going
stat. Last top weight, Red Rum in the 1970s, and then last top weight before that, you've got to go back to the 1930s. I know it's a very different race. He's a great stayer. Chances of Bristol de Mai.
I put that in my top 3, and I will keep everything else brief. Lovely horse.
So, 28 to 1 each way then.
It's a lovely, lovely horse. Betfair Chase at Haydock for 3rd time, 4 years in November. That last second's Native River at Sandown, pretty decent as well. His class, he's got a touch of class. He jumps a hell of a lot better than he used to do. And also, Daryl Jacob needs...
His touch of class, because he's a top weight, and in theory, he's the best horse in the race.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Daryl Jacob needs an ending to his documentary as well, because it sort of just goes, woo, I don't know if you've seen it. The Daryl big life not being a jockey. This could be the ending that they slap on at the end. Very emotional guy. I really, really like this. I can't see Bristol de Mai winning, but I can see it being placed.
So number 1, Bristol de Mai. Let's go to number 2, Chris's Dream. Pulled up in the Ryanair, trained by Henry de Bromhead, who had a brilliant Cheltenham, hoping that the Grand National might spring him to life.
Sets off now, still won't win. Couldn't jump at Cheltenham, was pulled up, like I said, in the Ryanair. That race in the fog in Ireland, couldn't say anything that Min won. Would not have a free bet on that.
Number 3, Yellow Anki. Placed in 3 Grand Nationals. Bryony Frost on board, who's finished 5th with Milan's Bar in 2018. Could she be the first female jockey? Her father won the race, Jimmy Frost, with Itu Pulvia in 1989. Yellow Anki.
Yeah, no, goes from the front. Circuit out, tailed off.
Ballyoptic, trained by
Next.
Nigel Twiston-Davis. Won it twice before, of course, Nigel. Second in the 2018 Scottish Grand National. Fell in the 2019 English National.
Yeah, fell twice over these fences now, totally out of form. Dog of a run at Haydock last time, 7th out of 8. Newbury before that, race at Cloth Cap won the Ladbrokes Trophy, beaten by 10 lengths, tailed off. Not a hope in hell for me, so I don't think there'll be a new jacket or coat for the trainer.
Number 5, Definitely Red, really well fancied in 2017. Went off 10-1 when saddle slipped. And the news this morning, Ryan Mania is now on board.
Oh, ask the big man. Ask the big man. First thing he said to me when I came in this morning was, that's the bet. That's the story. Definitely Red.
There we are then, Definitely Red. Of course, as you mentioned, Ryan Mania won it in 2013. He's on his way to Newcastle. He actually said to me last night that he'd rather be riding at Aintree. Well, at 10 o'clock this morning, he got his chance. Shall we hear from him then on what happened back in 2013 when he won the race at 66-1 on Aurora's Encore?
8 years ago, it's hard, madness actually, hard to believe. And then all those years ago when I had such a good time on the Betfred sofa back in the studio, and how things have changed now, we're doing a Zoom call. But yeah, it's been a long time since that great day, but not a day goes by that I don't think about it. And I actually was in at Swiss this morning and could see Aurora's Encore from a distance in the field enjoying his retirement. A lot of it's a blur, but I do remember crossing the line and walking back up past the crowd. And basically nobody was cheering for me because nobody knew who we were. There were, you were 66-1 outsider, and everybody was like, "Who the hell is this?" It was eerily quiet, given that there's so many people. But such was the shock on their faces as well as on mine.
Oh, we'll just go back to 2013 because everyone says racing is a great leveller. And boy, there's no scenario bigger than your own on that weekend, because less than 24 hours after being on top of the world with that national success, you're being airlifted to hospital after a fall at Hexham.
Yeah, it wasn't an ideal way of celebrating, was it? But because that's part and parcel of being a jockey, unfortunately. But look, I'll never forget. I went down to Sue Harvey's that morning for the media to speak to the media and things and see the horse. And she said to me, "You don't have to go to Hexham if you don't want to," but I went anyway, and unfortunately the horse fell, and I ended up with fractured vertebrae in my neck, and it was not the ideal start, but funnily enough, it made me more famous than the actual win, because suddenly people didn't care so much that I won the national, but suddenly the national winner that tried to kill himself the following day, that suddenly raises a few eyebrows. So yeah, that was I got more famous for that. Been great to have, as I say, won the national for Sue and Harvey, and then as you said, I took some time off and came back, and I've had some great winners since. I've had a lot of winners and a lot of fun since I came back, and to get a festival winner's just completely topped it off. It's been unbelievable. The national is what everyone dreams of, but never realistically conquers, and I was lucky to do that. And partly, obviously, I had my reasons for leaving, but there was a part of me who thought I've won the national, how much better can it get, sort of thing. What am I going to achieve now? And the answer is a hell of a lot more. I was desperate to get a festival winner, and I'm lucky to have done that. And what it does is this time round, it's made me hungry for even more. What I really want to do is have a Grade 1 winner. I haven't had a Grade 1 winner, so that's the next on the list as well. So, coming back and riding the festival winners. And as I said, I've had a couple of good listed chase winners as well. Just makes me realise that I've completely done the right thing in coming back, and that I haven't completely lost my ability to ride, which is even better.
He has not lost his ability, and could it be the story to end all stories? On his way to Newcastle, diverted, Definitely Red, pulled up when sent off just 10-1 4 years ago, and has won twice at Aintree. The saddle did slip, but he's finished 4th in a Beecher Chase. Look, it's not beyond the realms of possibilities, but there's probably likely a candidates, Mark.
Let's carry on talking through the runners and riders. So next up is Lakeview Lad, owned by Trevor Himmins, who's got the favourite in a Cloth Cap, the rehearsal chase winner, the Roland Merrick winner as well, and a champion jockey on board.
Yeah, what I'd have done if I was Brian Hughes today is I'd have gone to Newcastle and picked up those 5 rides that Ryan Mannion should have been on. To be fair, there's 2 chances of this. You've got none and all. Struggled after the 21st in 2019. All right, was hampered, pulled up, watched that last night. Not for me.
Burrows Saints, trained by Willie Mullins, won the race with Hedge Hunter in 2005. He's got the son Patrick on board. Patrick is very good, won the Topham yesterday. Last amateur to win the race, Marcus Armitage on Mr. Frisk in 1990. And we can see Burrows Saint winning the Irish Grand National in 2019. And obviously, this is a very, very good form line.
Great ride as well. Was Ruby on this day?
He was. And he said after this win, this is an English Grand National horse. Anything to add, Joe?
Well, the kids picked it out. I know. You and Matt were all over this.
Yeah, look, I fancy it. I think the ground's perfect for it. No worries about Patrick Mullins being on board after winning the Topham yesterday.
Can I just say, I think that's more of a positive, taking over from Paul Townend. He wouldn't be my favourite jockey, Paul Townend. And I think anyone with the name Mullins afterwards, he was brilliant yesterday in the Topham. And I think if he gives that horse the same sort of ride he gave yesterday, it was unbelievable. But I know Matt's all over.
Yeah. Well, I think the big difference as well, sorry to interrupt, Matt, is that, look, they've had this COVID, obviously, last year it was off, but this was always a plan. And he'd probably gone off favourite last year, wouldn't he?
He certainly would have done, yeah, and I was a big fan of him last year as well. Look, when he just won that race, he was a 6-year-old. He's a 6-year-old already winning over 3 3/4 miles in Ireland. He's 3 from 3, Mark, on good ground, when good is in the going description as well. So all these, I think, also remind you, think, oh, they love the mud, they love to plough through it. Not so much the case for him. And if Ruby Walsh said this is an English national winner in waiting, then that's good enough for me. I think he's a huge chance, and 10-1, 6 places each way, is too good not to be involved with.
Yeah, I've backed Burrows Saint each way. Let's keep going. Number 8 is Magic of Light, one of the gambles so far this morning. Second in 2019 to Tiger Roll. Only 13 mares have ever won this race. The last mare to win it, Nickel Coin, in 1951.
Fancied the horse 2 years ago. I should have done the forecast that year. Really liked it. Now, not for me. I think we're 2 years too late on this.
We've got another Mullins horse here, Acapella Bourgeois. Won the Bobby Joe Chase, beating Burrows Saint.
Yeah, I couldn't see it for the distance. I mean, you may be different to me. I put a line through this horse straight away.
Talk is Cheap is number 10, winner of the Bet365, only 5 places on the Grand National Gold Cup 2 years ago.
Matt, could you, again, it was one of those ones that straight away put a big line through. Don't know how good the horse is nowadays.
You say he's only had 4 starts since that win at Sandown. He's clearly had his issues and he hasn't really shown much. All right, one was a jumper's bumper, but well beaten at Kempton last time out, and yeah, not for me either.
To Per Me is number 11, 125 to 1. Of course, we had 150 to 1 winner of the Irish Grand National this week, owned by Gigginstown. Obviously, you've got a great record in this race. He's a grey. Only 3 greys have won the National. Lamb back in 1868 and 1871. Nicholas Silver in 1961. And Neptune Cologne just in 2012.
Next.
Hannibal Fly. Well, I think this is...
Oh, here we go.
This is a very, very good bet each way, I think, Hannibal Fly. Number 12, Hannibal Fly. Placed in the last 2 rides, 4th and 5th. Dennis O'Regan on board. Rides the Grand National fences so well. His best was 2nd on Black Appalachia in 2010 to Don't Push It.
Yeah, this is a really strong fancy for me. If you tuned in for like the first time, you're not like a regular punter and you're just having a little bet on the Grand National. The name Tony Martin will mean nothing to you, AJ Martin, the trainer. How do we say it? Very, very shrewd. Can get one ready. Is that what we say? You look at the bare form, and if again you're a puncher who has a look, and you go right. So it came last of 9 at Punchestown, last of 8 at Leopardstown, last of 8 at Leopardstown again.
£12 lower, I think, than last time in the National.
Oh yeah. So for all those runs where the horse wasn't looking great, He's come down the weights. He's got a nice little weight in today. Dennis O'Regan gets the mount. 4th and 5th in 2018, 2019, a lower weight. Someone says to me that looks like it could be set up for this race.
So a tick.
Oh, 100%. It's a massive tick for this one.
Talking about massive, Matt.
No, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Bangor. I'm a big fan. Placed in 2 Gold Cups, no less, and very, very well handicapped. A weight of just 10 stone 10. A big chance for me for Hannibal Flight. Dennis O'Regan give him a stalking ride and expect him to be bang there in the 6th. Certainly staying on late.
Why is that 28 to 1? Am I seeing something different?
No, I agree with you. Look,
the horse
Hannibal Flight was on my shortlist.
Yes.
But you can't back them all. Hannibal Flight is a cracking each way back.
But
the reason I've not backed it is my daughter's called Annie, so that'll be her selection.
All right, I get it then. So she'll be buying the Chinese Flight.
Well, obviously she won't be having a bet, of course.
Yeah, she won't be.
That's what she'll hopefully getting in the sweepstake.
Yeah. She's 29 as well.
Minus 20. Mr. Malarkey, number 13. We've been talking about John Joe O'Neill, the trainer of Cloth Cap. His son there on board, Mr. Malarkey. Trained by Colin Tizard. At the end of this month, Colin will hand over the licence to Joe. And Mr. Malarkey is one of the horses that's been getting backed this morning.
It has been getting backed. Love the jockey, John Joe O'Neill Jr. Been raving about
the trainer
him.
as well.
Yeah.
And obviously had an awful year.
Awful year. He steps down at the end of the season. But if you're flipping those prices, I wouldn't back Mr. Malarkey at 28 to 1 and Hannibal Flight at 14s. I think they're wrong in the prices. Would not be for me. Not be for me.
We can see Mr. Malarkey 3rd at Kempton back in February. This was obviously the plan to then come to the Grand National. I tell you what, we'll leave that. He finished 3rd at Kempton. Let's move on instead. So let's talk about Kimberly Candy. Kimberly Candy 2nd in the last 2 run-ins of the Beecher.
Richie McClernand. He was 2nd on Sunny Hill Boy, wasn't it? Was it Sunny Hill Boy that he was on? 20 to 1. That was the horse that I really fancied. And it was the year that the whip ban came in. And, you know, I'm not a massive, huge advocate of the whip and beating horses, but just one more behind the saddle, he would have won that. Lots of people putting this up. A lot of people saying that could be the best of the British. 18 to 1. You know, at the end of the race, you're going to see those green and gold colours of JP McManus come in, and it's always the one that you don't expect with a different coloured cap. Probably could be one of the best of the British today. It's a moderate tick for me.
This is Kimberly Candy then finishing 2nd, you say, in the Beecher Chase. He's been around there a couple of times, been placed there as well. You see a former winner, 1 for Arthur in behind. This is Vio Leon Rouge. We'll talk about him later because he's a bit of a history maker here this afternoon as well. The interesting thing about Kimberly Candy is his jockey Richie McClernand, who used to be the regular pilot of Cloth Cap, no less, and was on board when he was 3rd in the Scottish National to taking risks. So many connotations, of course, as always, in the Grand National.
Let's talk about number 15 now. Any second now. Trained by Ted Walsh. He trained Papillon in 2000, which was a huge gamble. Won the Kim Muir in 2019. Had an interesting prep run, winning a 2-mile race at Navan.
Yeah, this is the winner for me of the National. Again, it's one of those ones that you look into it.
Just repeat that.
This is the winner of the Grand National. This is the winner of this year's Grand National for me. Obviously Irish. Ted Walsh. You mentioned Papillon. Was it Seabass that was 3rd?
3rd, yes. That's the best that a female jockey's done.
Yeah, Katie on. Yeah, Katie on that day. It was a fabulous jockey. You went through all the stats. The bizarre prep, but the prep is very much Ted Walsh.
2-mile race at Navan.
Yeah. What was the trainer excuse when he was pulled up and then won over a shorter distance? When you get the trainer excuses book out of why the horse improved so much, he didn't like the big fields. So he's won a Kim Muir and then going into this. This has been a plot, not just for this year. I think they've been thinking about this for a long, long time. For me, just get your paper out, have a look online, just to have a look at anything that's online today, if you really fancy any second now. And I think this is the winner today. I strongly fancy this horse.
any second now for Joel. Let's move on to number 16, Balco de Flo. Henry de Bromhead obviously had that outstanding Cheltenham, won the Ryanair in 2018, been winless since.
And he'll be winless today.
Right, number 18, OK Corral. Sorry, number 17, Alpha Desobo. Not spoken about that yet. Fell 3 years ago out of the chair. Was fourth in the cross-country this year. And, of course, Gigginstown always used to use that route with Tiger Roll.
Yeah, it wouldn't be for me. I don't know if Matt's got a strong opinion on this. Denise Foster, the percentage training has gone down a hell of a lot. Interesting booking, though. Jodie McGarvey takes over.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, plenty of runners from Ireland as well, so trying to find plenty of jockeys. And, of course, Jodie McGarvey had a great weekend last weekend with a couple of big wins over in Ireland. But a few years ago, he was running really well and winning some big handicaps. His form has tailed off terribly, and it's just not for me this afternoon.
Number 18 is OK Corral, trained by Nikki Henderson. He's won Gold Cups, champion hurdles, he's won everything. He's never won the Grand National.
Well, that was what I was going to say. Take everything out that you know about trainers, and if you normally go in England for, you know, Nichols, Skelton, Henderson, you look at the Grand National, you look who trains it, you put a line through it. However, brilliant amateur rider, Derek O'Connor. Fantastic jockey, but to be fair, he's going to have to get off and push.
Number 19, Taking Risks, trained by Nicky Richards. We mentioned it earlier, his father won the race twice before, Lucius in 78, Hello Dandy in 1984, Scottish Grand National win in 2019, won at Doncaster recently. Stats are against him as a 12-year-old, but Amberley House did win it 17 years ago, but it's been backed.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. I mean, I know it's on your shortlist, Matt.
No?
Is it not? Was it your shortlist?
My shortlist.
You said you backed it.
I have backed it, yeah.
Yeah, I thought the jockey, Sean Quinlan, I gave him lots of praise earlier on. That Sky Bet handicap chase in January at 40-1 was great, but it wasn't for me. Wasn't for me. But Nicky Richards, I've heard him talking about it on radio and podcasts, and he's pretty chipper about it.
I really like Nicky Richards.
Yeah,
Of course, used to train Monez Garner, had a love affair with Aintree. Let's see Taking Risks actually winning the Scottish Grand National in 2019. And the interesting thing about this, because Cloth Cap is in third, Joel.
Who's on Cloth Cap this day?
Richie McLean.
Yeah, it is Richie, isn't it?
So this is a Scottish Grand National back in 2019.
Yeah, this is obviously Beach Cross Park here is a good stay as well, but Cloth Cap was 4 lengths behind. There's only £1 between them, and obviously there's only £2 between them today. Maybe that's why the money's coming. They're thinking, not a lot to choose between them on that form and at the weights. If Cloth Cap's only 11-2, why was Taking Risks such a big price?
And Taking Risks clearly very versatile on the ground as well.
Exactly, yeah, and it was a thinking that he did like dig in the ground, but no, he's just as out on decent ground. Although Joel Mark's shortlist is not so much of a shortlist, I'll be honest.
After Taking Risk, we go for number 20, Shattered Love. Never Fallen Shattered Love. And third in the Mayor's Chase.
You know what's going to happen now? Every time I say that, I always say that, horse never fallen, won't jump. Might not be good enough, but will never fall. They always fall when I say that.
Very good jockey on board.
Yeah.
Former festival winner. If she stays, she could certainly be in the 6.
Kevin is better than Sex.
Not discounted.
Shattered Love, number 20. Right, we've spoken about half the field. We will speak about the other 20. We've got half an hour left. But how do you pick yours?
How I choose my picks, I've tried a number of ways over the years. I've tried studying the form. That didn't really work. I've tried going off the jockey's colours or going off the names I like. That didn't really work either. I've found the best way is to get my son to point in the newspaper, and the horse he picks is the one I go for. And that won last year, so I'll be doing that again this year.
When it comes to making my selection for the Grand National, in recent years I've stuck with the Gigginstown team, those famous maroon and white starred silks. They've had plenty of success with Tiger Roll winning it back-to-back famously, and then also a few years previously I was lucky with Rule the World for those Take That fans who won at a massive price. I'll be sticking with them again this year. Farclas will probably be my pick, with Jack Kennedy on board, who had a great Cheltenham Festival, and hopefully he continues that into the Grand National meeting and wins the big one.
How do I pick my horses for the Grand National? My old man in the 70s fell in love with horse racing through following Ginger McKinn and Red Rum, who of course won 3 Grand Nationals. And he's passed that affiliation down to me, and we both follow Donald McCain closely now. And in 2011 that loyalty paid off when Ballarbriggs romped home at a real decent price. Unfortunately there's no McCain entry this year, so we're going to have to do a bit of thinking. My dad will sit me down for an entire afternoon in the build-up and quite literally tip up half the field so they can be discounted right away. And then we'll figure out that we know nothing more than anyone else, so we'll do what most of the country does and pick a horse based on a name or a number or a colour.
Place your Grand National bets with Betfred. Check out our latest offers. Download our app or visit betfred.com.
Yeah, download the app, get going with 6 places each way. Let's continue our talk through these. So, number 21 is Jet. Sam Whaley-Cohen on board, won over the national fences 6 times, but never won the big one.
No, are you still there? Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Will Jet still be there at the end after 4 1/4 miles? No.
Number 22 is Lord du Mesnil, second in the National Hunt Chase at Cheltenham in 2020. And that's a marathon.
Lord du who?
Lord du Mesnil.
Lord du Mesnil.
Oh, thank you.
Lord du Mesnil. Nick Schofield, Rita Dolbzun, 50 to 1 shot.
Second in the National Hunt Chase at Cheltenham in 2020.
Yeah, a lot of people have talked about this horse. I was driving in this morning. We've got to be, 30, 40 minutes away from Aintree here. It was snowing. The rain was coming down this morning. I think this horse definitely needs rain. If we get a couple of hours of it, then it won't be 50 to 1. But if we don't, it is 50 to 1 for a reason.
Number 23, you won't miss the colours of Potter's Corner. Trained in Wales. Won a Welsh Grand National, won a Midlands Grand National, and also won a virtual Grand National.
Yeah, did we have a stat about virtual Grand National winners?
I don't think they're folded up in the real one.
No, I don't think so. But last night...
Cloth Cat won last night. Potter's Corner, Christian Williams. I love Christian Williams, knows the time of day. They've already pointed this horse to this race. You look at form, you throw the form book out the window. Could be him in a little squeak, I reckon. The last Welsh train winner?
One for Arthur.
No, that's Scottish.
No, that's Scottish.
Kirkland in 1915. 1915.
He's bored me all morning with these stats. Right before we came on, I'm trying to remember them all.
I think this is a very interesting one. Class Conti, so obviously part of the Mullins second string. Yet to race beyond 3 miles, but jumps very well, does Class Conti.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a massive opinion on it. Patrick Mullins was talking about it in the news, saying that he's got a squeaker get in place, but that's all he thinks, but a solid jumper.
Number 25, Milan native, won the Kimura in 2020. Jamie Codd is booked, Matt, your mate.
Yeah, he is, yeah, and I had a window just before that run at Cheltenham, and it was an eye-catching run. He was under pressure for a long way, but he did stick on pretty nicely in the end. Happy-Go-Lucky was ahead of him, and he runs early, the race before, so that could be a good form guy. But let's see what Jamie Codd had to say then about picking up a ride. He's completed the course previously on Mala Beach, and he rode around it on Thursday on the Mighty Stowaway. He might have just picked up a nice little outsider here.
Yeah, look, it had a little bit of a rush preparation going to Cheltenham, just things, think a few little niggles and that, but he's bounced out of Cheltenham really, really well. And look, as we say, he's a previous Kimura winner. The favourite Clark Cap was well behind him that day in the Kimura. Obviously, he's improved well since, and he looks to be well thrown in on what he's done this year since the weight's come out. But no, really looking forward to Milan native. If he takes to the fences, you never know what can happen. It's a Grand National, so if you're not in, you can't win. So really looking forward to him. But it's very, very competitive. There's loads of quality back down through. Burrows Saint, Irish national winner. Annie Second now, who also is a previous Kimura winner, won a grade 2 in Navan the last day over 2 miles. So he's got a bit of class. Discorama was second in a national hunt chase behind LeBrule. Seems to be coming in here. I was disappointed with his run in Cheltenham before Christmas, but I think we can forget about that. And I know the Nolans are very, very happy with him. So, you know, there's loads of quality here, far class, previous Triumph Hurdle winner, you know, as we can say.
Like Tiger,
you know,
would you believe the Triumph Hurdle
Tiger.
turned into a leading trial for the Grand National?
and that's it, and it could happen, you know. So there's loads there. A horse I really, really like is Mr. Malarkey of Colin Tizard's. He's won a couple of Ascot chases, beating the conditional, who obviously the ill-fated conditional. And, you know, I think he's a horse that could take to the fences and could give the Tizards a big day out. And maybe Colin, I think, has given the licence to Joe, so it'll be a real swan song for him now to go out on a big winner. And, you know, so I'm going to stick my neck out and maybe go for him.
Mr. Malarkey then. Yeah, it's been a poor season really, I think, and Tizards and all the success they've been used to, but I'm sure they'll give it all up for a Gold Cup, for a Grand National success, shouldn't they?
Yeah, definitely. And it'd be a fitting end.
Good luck to Jamie. Outstanding jockey and only amateur. Forget the only amateur. He's outstanding. Well, in fact, all the jockeys, including the amateurs today, are outstanding. Look at Patrick Mullins yesterday. What a ride he gave that.
That's the Codfather. Is somebody you never want to retire. He's one of those ones that your mates have been round. You look at an amateur riders race in Ireland and you just go Jamie Codd. You see JJ Codd there and you're going in. This horse, I was watching last night the race in the Ultima at Cheltenham. I think, was it Jack Kennedy who was riding that day?
In the what?
Was it the Ultima? It may have been in the Gigginstown colours.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, very, very tender handling, I think is what you would say. No one would expect anyone to use Cheltenham as a prep run. I think it came 9th, but it was not the most aggressive ride, I would have said. And I think today, under Jamie Codd, will improve for firmer handling.
Right, let's pick him up.
You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. Let's pick him up with number 26, Disco Rama, placed 3 times at Cheltenham, part owned by Andrew Gamble, who also owns Paisley Park, so you could have a huge day. I like the profile of Disco Rama.
Yeah, 22 to 1 seems fair to me, to be fair. I think it was Paul Paul Nolan. I think he came out and said he was just going to hunt the horse around for the first circuit.
He said he needs a bit of luck, which obviously more prominent have done better in Grand Nationals of late.
Yeah, I mean, the way you used to be able to ride it was, and that's from somebody who's an armchair jockey who's never ridden a horse. You used to be able to hunt around the first circuit and then the second circuit.
Different class of horse now. They've got
nowadays, the new plastic national, you can't hunt around for the first circuit. Needs a little bit of run. I know a lot of Irish people really, really fancy this horse and has been tipped up on a lot of preview nights.
Yeah, I've backed it each way.
Of course you have.
27, Via Laia Rouge, which means Old Red Lion. David Pike won it with Comply or Die in 2008. Jumps the fences, been round the fences in the Grand National and a Beecher 9 times in total. Finished 7th, 6th, 9th, 15th.
Not fast enough. Not for me.
We'll get round, Matt.
Well, nine times been round. Now, he's jumped more Grand National fences than anybody else ever. 230 by my calculations. Incredible.
Zip.
You know what? With 6 places, could he just sneak into the frame?
He's done a bit of research. We had to go to him for that start, didn't we? Right, Cloth Cap is the favourite. John O'Neill Trent V, winner of the Grand National with Don't Push It back in 2010. Never completed the course as a jockey. Owned as well by Trevor Hemmings, going for a record 4th Grand National win. Would be a stone well in if the weights were done now
after
by the handicapper. Yeah, so look, ticks all the boxes, Cloth Cap.
Yeah, not for me. Won't stay, can't jump, bad jockey. Move on. No, honestly, that price. I saw Fred was doing the price boost yesterday, the push, at 11 to 2 for the win only, and I was like, I need to get on this. The bigger the price goes off on the day, and I think they were talking about it on TV this morning. So your casual punter is going to get the Daily Star, Sun, Mirror, whatever, and look through the tipsters' tips. If they know nothing about racing, they have a look. Not one tipster has put up Cloth Cap. So...
I tell you the reason why.
Because you don't need the praise for it.
Well... Yeah, exactly. So the tipsters are always going to try and find a different angle.
Yeah, but my point is...
I think I could... At 5:30 today, I think we could look pretty silly when Cloth Cap's won by half the track.
The only reason I didn't put this as the winner was because, you've tipped a favourite. I'd have a few quid on 11 to 2. Many people think it'll go off 7 to 1 today. No,
I think it's going to go off 11 to 2, which it is now, probably. 6 to 1 tops.
No, everything's there. Everyone's talked about it. Perfect story as well that... many rumours that Sku could finish today if he wins. Yeah. I might have made them up. I'm sure he said it was going to be his last season.
I
may have just passed on some information that I shouldn't have done. So that was not from me.
That's not like you.
No, not like me at all. Keep your gob shut.
The history, obviously, Trevor Hemmings won it, Hedgehunter, Ballybriggs and Many Clouds. Tom Scudemar's granddad won it with Oxo. His dad was involved with One for Arthur. John Joe, obviously, trained Don't Push It. Ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't it?
Oh, I mean, it ticks every box. The only thing that when you're looking at something of that price and a favourite, you've got to have a look. And a couple of times, jumped slightly left, sometimes slightly right. It's not a massive thing, but if you've got horses either side of you and you're jumping, you don't want to see somebody jump out the side door, do you? You've got two horses down, you jump in one way or the other, and it's squash, and you're out of there. But on all form, I don't think he'll front run. I think he'll, be in the van, but I don't think he'll front run. I think Yala Enki and Cabaret Queen will be up there.
Well, let's hear from someone who actually knows what he's doing, has won the Grand National as well. So let's actually hear from the trainer of Cloth Cap, John Joe O'Neill.
It must be so exciting to have a horse going in with such a weight of expectation in Cloth Cap going for this year's Grand National.
Yeah, it's very exciting, really. He's very well in at the weights, so you can understand why everybody is pushing him forward. He jumps and he stays. He seems the right sort of type of horse for the race, really, and he'll never get in better again, will he?
What's been the transformation into turning into such an exciting horse?
This year, he just come back in and he's in great form, and he's settled in to work really well. And he went to Cheltenham and he had a lovely run, finished third, and then we went for the Ladbrokes, and that went really well, and it just all happened, really.
Good luck to John Joe, lovely fella. Number 29, Cabaret Queen, a Willie Mullins outsider, front-running winner of the Kerry National.
Yeah, goes off in the front with Yala Enki. I think Cloth Cap will sit behind him. Circuit to go. I think they'll be pulled up.
Number 30.
Be honest, there's no point lying.
Number 30, Manila Celebration, well beaten in the 2019 Beecher, but has had a wind-up.
Yeah, the wind-up was interesting. Apart from that, couldn't find much.
Number 31, Canelo, will be popular with boxing fans, might be on the ropes too soon.
Oh, please. Yeah, knockout blow today, not for me at all.
Number 32, the Long Mile, decent third at Fairyhouse.
Yeah, decent third at Fairyhouse, but that's it. There's nothing else there. But again, it's just the colours. Very, very shrewd trainer in Ireland. And the colours as well. If you're looking at colours in the green and gold, JP's one of those caps will come into the frame. I'm not sure it'll be the Long Mile. Not good enough.
Number 33, Gimme a Copper, part owned by Sir Alex Ferguson, who has scored on Merseyside this week, and Paul Nicholls has won the race before with Neptune Cologne just in 2012.
Is this the one that Fred's brother has a few quid of as well?
He does, yes. Fred's brother is involved in this. Yeah. But we've got no inside info.
No inside information apart from the pair of brothers are brilliant at investing. I think this might be the worst investment for a Grand National.
34, Farkler, former Triumph winner, just like Tiger Roll.
He's going to stay. He's going to stay all day.
And look, the Gigginstown have got such a good record in this race, and look who's on Farkler.
Yeah, and got off Milan native to ride this. It will be. Was this Denise Foster's first Grand National? Since taking over that licence?
Surprisingly, yes.
Yeah, surprisingly, and probably a last as well.
She didn't realise she was going to be doing the Grand National about 4 weeks ago.
She's got 14 horses in it, all with a chance. Probably one of the best ones on form for... the jockey booking, like you say, is probably the most interesting thing, because Jack maybe would have had the choice. Could see it running into a place, not for me, for the win.
I thought this would be single figures by now. Manila Times,
Yeah, this will go
number
off favourite.
35.
This is going off favourite this afternoon.
With Rachel Blackmore on board. Can she make history? 6 wins at Cheltenham, of course. 16 female jockeys have tried to win the Grand National. The best was Katie Walsh in 2012, who was 3rd on Seabass. Rachel Blackmore has been in a race twice before, fell in 2018, finished 10th in 2019.
Sure, thank you for that. Look, I said a long time before all the you know, what do you call them? Not bridge jumpers. That's wrong. That's when you back the wrong one. when you jump on the bandwagon. I said that Rachel was the best jockey riding in Ireland at the time, and Holly Doyle was the best jockey riding in England at the time. I think today this will get absolutely smashed as soon as ITV Racing goes. I think 11-1 is a really skinny price. Should be about 25s, I reckon. When ITV Racing starts this afternoon, they do the big packages. It will go off. I reckon this could go off favourite today.
Bold statement. I think it will get back. You're right. Number 36, also a female jockey.
Come on, Tabs.
Tabitha Worsley, who has won other Grand National fences, won the Fox Hunters in 2019 with Topwood.
First horse backed was this, 150-1. Gigginstown,
yep.
And I would love it today, as Kevin Keegan would say. Imagine if this horse wins, formerly of Henry de Bromhead, who had such a brilliant Cheltenham. Mother-daughter combination, both ride it out every single day. I think it was Ascot, a couple of handicaps at Ascot, has finished, I think 4th, was it? 33s and 66-1. And just before being sold was 2nd at Galway. I'm still here, yes, behind the Storyteller. Been 100-1, 150-1 all week. And there are worse shots on here because you might not have heard of the trainer or the jockey. And Tabitha is a decent jock.
Number 37, I've had a bit of an each-way squeak on this. Hogan's Height. Won the Grand Sefton in 2019, all right. I know that's a lot shorter distance, but over the Grand National fences, was 6th in the cross-country recently as well. So I think that was just a warm-up race. I think 6 places each way. I think Hogan's Height, not going to win, but can defy his odds and get in the 6 at 100-1.
The second horse I put a line through. I don't know if Matt's got any opinion on this.
It's just that, yeah, I can see the thinking. He's been over the fences, he warmed up in the cross-country as well. He just seems one of them quirky characters that loves a very different test to the usual park fences. And interestingly, he'd run him over hurdles as well. And the connections, the syndicate who owned him, were quite sweet on his chances before he was ruled out, sadly, last year. Obviously, his form isn't the same stratosphere this season, but you just never know. These fences might just perk him up again. Stamina may be the issue.
Number 38, Double Shuffle, 2nd in the King George in 2017. Part honed by an hairdresser. Could he be a cut above the rest?
Oh, look at him go. Won't get the trip. Didn't it run it was a few years ago? Double Shuffle ran. Didn't get the trip.
2nd in the King George 4 years ago. Number 39, Ami Desbois. Interesting. Trainer Graham McPherson is an acting QC, and you could make a case for this horse each way.
You could indeed, but hasn't won since 2017. Third horse we put a line through.
Yeah, but 6 places each way is what we're trying to say.
At the minute, you could be paying 18. Everyone that comes up, I mean, you are right when you say don't worry about the price. Sub-lieutenant there is still 50-1. That horse should not be 50-1. Should not be. Double Shuffle should be 200-1, and Ami Desbois should be 300-1. You've got to look at it like this. You're the bookie. I'm not. I'm the punter. It's you against me.
Well, I'm trying to be a punter today as well. Number 40, Black Lion. Was 8-1 favourite in 2017. Did win the Beach that year. Trained by the Skeltons.
Fitness won't beat him. I know you're a massive fan of the Skeltons, Matt, and you've backed him to be champion jockey, haven't you? Should he have gone to Newcastle today, or will Black Lion?
No, if champion jockeys run at the best meetings, we know that. Unfortunately, it isn't 4 years ago. He had a big chance 4 years ago. He finished 4th. He's just a pale shade of his former self. But you just never know. It's the Grand National after all.
So I hope we're not bored you, but we've gone through all 40 winners. Let's have the betting update in a moment at the top of the market. But we've gone through all 40 runners for you. Cloth Cap is the favourite. We'll see what price it is. What price is Cloth Cap now, Matt?
It's 11-2, Mark, and it's a real surprising market. This is not what I expected at all. I expected Cloth Cap to be backed. I expected Manila Times to be well backed. I expected A Second Now to be well backed. But it's been Mr. Malarkey and taking risks. They are the two. 25-1 into 14-1 now, Mr. Malarkey. Taking risk was 40s at declaration time, 10 o'clock Thursday morning, 16-1. As I say, he did beat Cloth Cap by 4 lengths in that Scottish National. Yes, Cloth Cap was a novice, then he has improved. Look, whatever you're back in, as I say, we are 6th place each way. Do not be put off by the price. It all centres around Cloth Cap 11-2, but there's plenty of opposition to him in the market. Not the ones we expected. A few at bigger prices. Double Shuffle's been backed as well, 66s from 100s. Sub Lieutenant, 40s from 66s. And also Acapella Bourgeois, 33s and 25s. A big spread of money on the Grand National, but not for the horses at the top of the market we expected.
We're running out of time. Just want to touch on the other race in Aintree before we finish. Live pictures here. It's good to soft.
It feels like we're there.
And it's set. Well, you touch it, you nearly are. Look.
All right, how are you doing, live? All right,
Well, it's the nearest you're going to get to it this year, Joel.
Yeah.
Right then, give us your 1, 2, 3.
Reverse order.
No, starting with gold medal first. Starting with the history maker. What are you going for?
Any Second Now wins the Grand National.
Second.
Bristol de May.
Third.
Cloth Cap.
I'm going to go Burroughs Saint first, Discorama second, and then I'm going to chuck in Hogan's Height third. So
Wow.
I'm chucking Hogan's Height third, although I have backed Taking Risks as well, which I don't think. So there we are. There is my 1, 2, 3. So Burroughs Saint, Discorama,
Irish,
Hogan's Height.
English.
Irish have done 1, 2, 3 in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Matt, what is your 1, 2, 3?
It's boring, but it's obvious. I'd rather back 11-2 winner than a 33-1 loser. But look, he's got so much in his favour. That is the thing, isn't it? He can't be out of the frame for me. And he just... Is it too good to be true?
Yeah.
He's chucked in, he handles the ground, he jumps well, he races prominently, he's trained by a Grand National winning trainer, he's owned by a Grand National winning owner. 11-2 though, Cloth Cap. This fella's going to be bang there as well. Burroughs Saint, he's a 10-1, Irish Grand National winner. What a ride he gave Live Love Laugh in these silks yesterday. And third, Hannibal Flight. I don't think he'll be far away at all. So much class, placed in 2 Gold Cups, 4th and 5th in 2 Grand Nationals, and well handicapped in this contest this year. 28-1. I agree with Joel for once. It's huge.
Well, let's just recap Joel's 1, 2, 3 then. So he is going Any Second Now, and then you're going Bristol de May, is it?
Yeah, Bristol de May second. Cloth
and
Cap
then
third.
Cloth Cap.
So I go 2, 3, 1, which is the 1, 2, 3.
That's what
Do you know
confused me.
No, because I was saying earlier on that I want to put them in like forecasts and tricasts and whatever and exactas and all this. So that's why they mixed them all up there. So it was my fault for doing that. But yeah, Any Second Now, Bristol de May, Cloth Cap. That's your 1, 2, 3.
Let's just quickly, let's have a look. We've got 3 minutes left. Obviously, the Grand National is a feature race at 5:15. But if you don't normally watch racing, it's a really, really good card to support it. The 145, we've got a handicap hurdle. We've got extra places on all these races as well. The 225, we've got this My Drogo for the Skeletons. Everyone thinks this is the best British novice hurdler.
Are you still got 9-4? I watched you this morning. Have you
No,
still
that's gone.
Best bet of the day, My Drogo. Without a shadow of a doubt. What's it now, 13-8 or something like that? Best bet of the day.
And we've also got the Liverpool hurdle. We're going to see Shishkin as well in the novice chase, but he's 7's on, Matt, so you just watch that race, don't you? So very quickly, Liverpool hurdle is Time Hill versus Paisley Park and Roxana as well. It's really good Liverpool hurdle.
They were first, second, third at Ascot, and I think they'll fill the first 3 in the frame as well. Roxana second on all her Aintree starts. And the track just suits her so well. I think she'll get a lot closer than she did at Ascot. But as you bet in 5-2, Time Hill, 4-1, Paisley Park, friendless, ground against him. Maybe the track doesn't suit as well.
Yep.
She's an each way bet to nothing, Mark, 5-1, Roxana.
Before we finish, we've had our 1, 2, 3. Let's get the 1, 2, 3 from Rupert Bell, who is at the track. So here's Rupert's 1, 2, 3 for the main event.
Well, the Grand National at 5:15 looks such a deep renewal. I can just see over in the distance the preparations being carried out to make sure the chair is in tip-top condition. The course obviously much easier to jump. We've seen that in the 2 races over the Grand National course this year. But I have to say, it's such a deep and competitive renewal. I just can't believe how short Cloth Cap is, and that's why I'm steering clear of the favourite, despite the fact he's run so well in his 2 runs that he's won, not only the big race at Newbury and then recently at Kelso. But outside of that, I do like the look of Any Second Now. It seems to be well trained for this race, and Ted Walsh is a shrewd operator. Kimberly Candy, yes, I know, was a big talk up last year, but still only a 9-year-old, so still should be pretty fresh, not too many miles under the clock. So Kimberly Candy right in there. And taking risks. I think it is worth taking a risk with this one. Ran so well last time. So those are my 3 against the field.
There, Rupert's 3. Right, really enjoyed it. It's going to be a hell of a race at 5:15. Really looking forward to it. The most important thing, all 40 jockeys and horses come back safely. Matt, repeat, what wins a Grand National?
What wins a Grand National? So I'm afraid it's boring, but for me, Cloth Cap, but my big price selection, Hannibal Flight, to be in the first 6.
Say it again.
Any Second Now wins. If you're looking for a massive price, who has just been backed now from 100s down to 50s to 40s, Sub-Lieutenant, or the commentator will call him Sub-Lieutenant this afternoon.
The first female jockey, could that be the story?
Tabitha Worsley, everyone's looking at Rachel Blackmore, everybody's looking at Briley Frost. Tabitha's not too far behind them, mother and daughter combination. First 6 places, yes please.
Yeah, I really fancy Burroughs Saint. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Joel. Thanks to you all for watching. So, at 5:15, there's 40 horses, there's 30 fences, but there'll only be 1 horse going down in history. Be lucky.
So the Grand National, the biggest steeplechase in the world, is almost ready to start.
And the jocks beginning to file out. The white flag is raised. They're being called in.
They're away.
They're off.
They're off in the Randox Health Grand National.
No faultless amongst the leading group.
Watch the incredible pilot. But he slipped. He's down.
Red Rum is going to win the National.
Tiger Roll joins the greats.